All right, let's jump right in. We're going to skip the whole tired cliche of blaming our phones for every little distraction. Look, we all know the infinite scroll is a trap, and honestly, we're all probably sick of hearing about it. In this explainer, we're getting to the absolute root of the problem. We're going to figure out why we actually do this to ourselves. We're looking at something way deeper, a psychological trap that literally every single one of us falls into on a daily basis. And yes, I am absolutely including myself in that. We're exploring exactly how to snap out of living on pure autopilot and how to shift into a state of what we're calling brutal execution.
So I want you to let this question sink in for a second. Are you treating your future self like a total stranger? It's kind of a weird thing to ask, right? But it is absolutely crucial for understanding why we fail to take action. See, when we procrastinate, we usually just call ourselves lazy. We beat ourselves up. But the source material for this explainer reveals a much harsher, but actually super clarifying truth. Procrastination, it isn't laziness at all. It's just emotional avoidance of present discomfort. You're not avoiding the work itself. You're just running away from the friction of the present moment. Think about it like leaving a massive pile of dirty, crusty dishes for tomorrow you to deal with. You'd never do that to a friend you respect, but you do it to your future self just to avoid the 5 minutes of discomfort of washing a pan right now. Which brings us to Section 1, the illusion of tomorrow. This is basically a biological trap. The real culprit behind this endless procrastination loop is a phenomenon called temporal discounting. It's this deeply ingrained psychological trick that your own brain plays on you, where it drastically devalues the future. And evolutionarily speaking, this actually makes total sense. Our ancestors had to prioritize immediate survival, like finding food or running from a predator right now, over long-term planning, like what they'd eat 6 months from now. But fast forward to today, and that same ancient wiring plays all the importance on right now and completely brushes off the reality of tomorrow. Because of this, you force a totally non-existent future version of yourself to do all the heavy lifting. Your brain is actively tricking you into taking the easy way out today, relying on this crazy illusion that tomorrow you is going to magically have endless energy and superhuman willpower.
And because of this mental trick, we set up this really brutal dynamic, present you versus future you. Present you gets to emotionally avoid all the discomfort of the task at hand. Present you gets to watch just one more episode, stay tucked under the covers, and take the easy road. But future you gets unfairly burdened with all the heavy lifting. I mean, think of future you as the ultimate unpaid intern, the one who gets all the terrible, complicated tasks dumped on their desk at 4:59 p.m. on a Friday. It's a pretty harsh way to look at it, isn't it? But we are quite literally punishing the person we're going to become just so we can be comfortable for 5 more minutes right now.
And here is the harsh reality we have to face. Comfort is a biological dead end. This is one of the most profound takeaways from our source material. See, the brain is remarkably like a muscle. If you just leave a muscle on the couch, it doesn't stay the same. It literally atrophies. Your brain does not experience growth when you're just sitting in a climate-controlled room, endlessly scrolling through a feed. Growth only happens when your brain is forced to adapt to friction. It needs a challenge. If you're constantly seeking comfort and running away from things that are hard, you're actively choosing mental and biological stagnation.
So that leads us right into Section 2, the mindset myth. Why action actually has to come before mindset. Okay, we have all been sold a massive lie when it comes to motivation. Think about it. How many self-help books or internet gurus have told you that you just need to visualize success, that you have to fix your mindset and find your why before taking action? How many times have you told yourself, oh, I'm just waiting for clarity, or the perfect plan, or I just need to be in the right mood before I finally start? Well, according to the actual science of human behavior, that is completely 100% backward. If you sit around waiting for the right mindset or a sudden burst of motivation to just magically strike you from the heavens, you are going to be waiting forever. The actual biological framework operates a lot like a scenario you've probably lived out without even realizing it. Think about going for a run on a freezing cold morning. Step 1. You just have to change your behavior and execute. You tie your shoes and you step outside, even though you absolutely hate it. Step 2 is where the magic actually happens. Neuroplasticity kicks in. As your heart pumps and you force the action, your brain physically adapts to the new reality. Your brain changes after your behavior changes, not before. And finally, Step 3. By mile 2, the momentum you've created generates the exact motivation you thought you needed before you started. High performers, they don't have some magical, permanently inspired mindset. They simply execute when they feel totally miserable, knowing their brain will eventually adapt and catch up. To really harness this, we have to recognize that real action creates momentum, and that momentum is what actually creates motivation.
It's an engine you have to manually start yourself. So, the incredibly effective, if slightly harsh solution is to build a system where your feelings simply do not get a vote in your daily execution. Your routines have to be stripped of emotion. It really doesn't matter if you feel sad or tired or completely uninspired, the system dictates that the work gets done anyway. By removing that constant emotional negotiation you have with yourself every single morning, you guarantee that action happens. And the motivation? It will reliably follow right in its wake.
Moving on to Section 3, the luxury of focus. This is really about the new wealth in our modern world.
Look, the world is changing faster than ever, and there is a brand new divide forming in our society. It's no longer just about that classic division between the rich and the poor. The real gap is widening between the focused and the distracted. Think about the dopamine slot machine effect of infinite scrolling for a second. If your attention span can be easily bought for a few seconds by a random viral clip or a flashy notification, you are voluntarily dropping yourself to the bottom of the cognitive food chain. On the flip side, the focused individuals, they're the true elite of this modern era, because they're the only ones who actually retain control over their cognitive resources in a world that is actively trying to steal them.
In a world where everyone is just perpetually distracted, having the rare ability to lock your mind onto one single objective and refuse to look away until the task is broken, that makes you almost untouchable. That level of cognitive endurance is the true modern luxury. We're not talking about money or status anymore. Cognitive endurance is the new wealth. We really have to stop making excuses for the friction we are constantly running away from. Facing that friction head-on, sitting with the discomfort of a really difficult task without checking your phone, that is literally the only way to build this kind of luxurious, unshakable focus.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 4, Brutal Execution. This is where you conquer your destiny.
Now, these are the brutal truths we all have to accept if we want to change our trajectory. Number 1, no one is coming to save your potential. There's no magical rescue boat coming for you. Number 2, the universe does not care about your unfulfilled dreams. And number 3, which is probably the most important one to internalize, the universe only responds to your current output. Our modern culture has become so obsessed with having good intentions, right? We all want credit for meaning well or planning to do something great someday, but reality doesn't respond to your plans or your mood or your potential. It only responds to the physical action you are taking right this very second.
So, it is time to break the loop of passive consumption. We have to step into massive, brutal execution. You have the literal power to change your biology through action. You don't need another generic motivational speech. You don't need to read another self-help book. You just need to act. You need to identify that one hard thing you've been avoiding because of temporal discounting, that terrible task you just dumped on the desk of tomorrow you, and you need to execute it today. Reclaim your focus, force the friction, and let neuroplasticity do the rest.
I'm going to leave you with this stark question to ponder. Take a hard look at the trajectory of your life based on your last week alone, just the last 7 days. Where are you realistically heading? Are you actually building an elite version of yourself by pushing through friction? Or are you just surviving on autopilot, letting comfort lead you straight to a biological dead end? The choice is entirely up to you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I challenge you to conquer your destiny by taking brutal action today.